Very good morning, students. This is part 14 of our chapter Human Digestive System. And in previous video, we have studied about the small intestines, and in today's video, we will study about the large intestine. So let's start. So very first, we will talk about the length of large intestine. So friends, the large intestine is having the length approx 1.5 meter to 2 meter. Clear, students? And you must know that the length of small intestine is approx 6.25 meter, and the length of large intestine is only 1.5 meter. So we can say the large intestine is much more greater in length than the length of the large intestine. So students, a question arises here that the length of small intestine is much greater as length of the large intestine. After that, why it is called large intestine and why the small intestine is called small intestine? So we know that the length is large intestine is so lesser as comparison to the length of small intestine. After all, the name is given large intestine, and why the name given small intestine is small intestine? So students, you must know that the it is not given name large intestine according to their length. Must listen carefully, students. The name of both intestine is not given because of their length. It is given because of their diameter. So you must know that the diameter of large intestine is much greater as comparison to small intestine. So we will talk about the diameter. So the diameter of large intestine is larger than the small intestine, hence it is called large intestine. So students, you know that the diameter of small intestine is less or is lesser as comparison to large intestine. So small intestine is called small intestine. So it is given name because of its diameter, because of the difference between the diameter of both intestines. So small intestine is called small intestine and large intestine is called large intestine because of their diameter. So diameter of small intestine is approx 1.5 inches. Hence we will talk about the diameter of large intestine. The diameter of large intestine is 2.5 inches. So it is so much greater as comparison to small intestine. So large intestine is called as large intestine and small intestine is called as small intestine. So we will talk about the name given to both intestine as large and small. So come to the next point number 4. Large intestine is also divided into 3 parts. As we studied in previous video, that small intestine is divided into 3 parts. Clear, students? And large intestine is also divided into 3 parts. So we will talk about these parts one by one. So very first we will talk about the cecum. So what is cecum? Cecum, it is the pouch-like junctions between ileum and colon. You can see also in diagram that the last part of ileum is joins in the first part of the large intestine is called cecum. So ileum is the last part of small intestine, and we have studied before it that ileum is the last part of small intestine and cecum is the first part of the large intestine. So ileum opens into cecum. In simple word, we can say that ileum connects with cecum. Clear? And I have written here that cecum is a pouch-like junction. You can see here that it is just looks like a pouch. In simple word, we can say it is looks like a pouch. You can see also in diagram it is looks like a pouch. So it is called pouch-like junction between ileum and the colon, in which between it is situated between ileum and the second colon of the second part of the large intestine. So this is a pouch-like junction. This is a pouch-like junctions. In other words, we can say this is the joining points of ileum and colon. So it is a pouch-like junction situated between the ileum and colon. Clear, students? Come to the next point. If we talk about the length of cecum, it is 3 to 8 centimeter long portion of large intestine. Very simple. Come to the next point. Ileum and cecum joints is called ileocecal junctions. You must know, students, and we have already studied about these junctions. So the junctions found between the cecum and ileum, the place found between the ileum and cecum is called ileocecal junction. For suppose that this is our ileum and this is the portion of this is the pouch-like portion of cecum. Clear, students? And this junction is called ileocecal junction. What is called? It is called ileocecal junction. Very simple. And on the ileocecal junction, a sphincter is found, and that is known as ileocecal valve and ileocecal sphincter. What is a junction? Sorry, a valve found between or on the junction of ileum and cecum, which is called ileocecal junction. And this point on this place, a valve is found, and the valve is known as ileocecal valve. So we have already studied about this valve, and this is called ileocecal valve. What is called? This is called ileocecal valve. And what is the role of ileocecal valve? Students, you must know that every valve found in alimentary canal, in everywhere, it plays same role. What is the role? That it prevents the backward entry of food and allow to move the forward entry of food. So this valve, this sphincter also allow to food to move from ileum to cecum, but the backflow is prevented by this valve. Clear, students? So this is the function of ileocecal valve, and it is situated on the junction of ileocecal junction. Clear? So this is the point. Come to the next point. Cecum is 6 cm long, and externally it carries a blind tube having lymphoid tissues called vermiform appendix. It is outgrowth of cecum and considered as vestigial organ structure in humans. So it is very important, students. So listen and view carefully that on the cecum, extremely part of the cecum, 6 meter long. Cecum is approx 6 meter long. We have already discussed here. It may be extended from 3 to 8 centimeter. So cecum is 6 centimeter long, and externally it carries on the external junctions, on the external part of cecum, a blind tube is present. A blind tube is present. You can see here. This is the blind tube present on the external part of cecum. A blind tube is present, which is having lymphoid tissue. Means this blind tube contains some lymphoid tissues. Clear, students? So this contain lymphoid tissues called, and these lymphoid tissues and this blind tube is known as vermiform appendix. What is called vermiform appendix? Clear, students? It is generally common name of this is known as appendix. It is very popular in India. It is called appendix, and it is outgrowth of cecum and considered as vestigial structure in humans. If we talk about the humans, it get extra growth, it getting extra growth sometimes, and it is also considered as vestigial structure in humans. Students, what is vestigial organs? Vestigial structure means non-functioning structures found in our body. Clear, students? There are many vestigial organs are found in our body, and in these many out of these vestigial structures, one of structure is found in our large intestine on the junction of cecum. So this is called vermiform appendix, and it is considered as vestigial. Why vestigial? Because it is non-functioning structure. Means there is no function. There is no functions found in our body of this vermiform appendix. So there is no functions occurs in our body. So if there are no vermiform appendix, there is no effect shown in our body. So this is a vestigial organs, and students, you must know that inflammations of vestigial or structure, vestigial means vermiform appendix, due to the food decay and infections is called appendicitis, and cecum is well developed in herbivores. So must be noted, students, that inflammations of vermiform appendix sometimes due to food decay, and sometimes there is bacterial infections found in this organ. So inflammations of vermiform appendix due to food decay and infections is called appendicitis. Appendicitis, it is generally called appendix in general word, and it is very popular in India, and popularly it is called appendix in simple words. So sometimes this organ, sometimes this vermiform appendix get inflamed, means it have swollen. Sometimes it's getting swelling, and that times if this swelling is caused to food decay and some bacterial infections. So at that times after swelling, it is called appendicitis. Means this is a disease. We can say that this is a type of disease, and this type of disease is called as appendicitis. And at that time, it is very it is occurs very huge in size, and the end of sharp point, and the sharp point one sided, it is very sharp, and this sharp end piercing is sharp point is penetrate to other organs and our down. So we feel very sharp pain. Clear, students? We feel painful, and these conditions are very painful for a human, and at that time a human operate this organ and completely remove by a surgeon this organ, so we can get rid of this painful conditions. So friends, I mean to say, this is appendicitis is generally known as appendix, and this is an vestigial organs. Vestigial organs means there is no functions are found in humans. But I have written here that cecum is well developed in herbivores. You must know, students, that cecum is not so much developed in humans. It is not so much developed in humans, but it is so much developed in grass-eating animals. Means I mean to say herbivores. It is much developed in herbivores, because herbivores herbivores animals, just like we can say a rabbit, a cat, deer, all the herbivores, cow and rabbit, they eat grass so much time, and in these grass eating animals, are appendix are used to digest cellulose. But you must know there is a low quantity found in humans of a low quantity of cellulose found in humans, so there is no digestion take place occurs in there is no digestion of cellulose occurs in humans, so there is no need of digestion of cellulose in humans. So this is vermiform appendix, having not any functions in human beings. So but in herbivores, means grass eating animals, it plays very important role, clear, to digest cellulose, especially it is used to digest cellulose. And one more thing I not written here, students, that on the cecum portions, on the wall of cecum, some bacteria are found, some symbiotic bacteria are found that are perform a special functions, that is fermentations. Clear, students? This is not so much important, but you must know. Clear? So this is the cecum, and this is the first part of our large intestine. Come to the next part of large intestine, which is called colon. And colon is the 5 feet long portion of large intestine, and it is the largest part of intestine, which is thinner than cecum. You know, students, that in out of 3 parts of large intestine, colon is the largest part of our large intestine. Clear, students? Colon is the large part of our large intestine, but it is thinner. It is thinner, get much layers. So it is thinner than cecum. Which is thinner than cecum. Means cecum is it is thinner. Less layers are found in colon, but it is thinner. Thinner means must know that it is so thinner than cecum, but more thicker as ileum or other part of small intestine. So I mean to say, largest part of large intestine is colon, and colon is thinner than cecum. It is thinner than cecum, but thicker as the part of large intestine, small intestine. Sorry. Come to the next point. Colon has 3 longitudinal bands composed of longitudinal muscles fibers called tinea coli. What I say? Colon has 3 longitudinal bands. You can see here, students. You can see here. Colon has 3. 1, 2, and 3. 3 longitudinal. Colon has 3 longitudinal bands composed of longitudinal muscles, which is made of longitudinal muscles. In the diagram, you can see the red linings are indicating the tinea coli. Clear, friends? So these long longitudinal bands are known as tinea coli. Clear, friends? And these are made of longitudinal muscles. Remember always, students. And colon has 3 longitudinal bands. In the diagram, you can see, once again I am repeating, that these red colored, I am indicating with red color marker. So these red colors longitudinal bands are known as tinea coli. Clear, friends? And these tinea coli contracts and draw some special small pouches called haustra. Clear, friends? And sometimes when the food comes into the large intestine, these longitudinal bands get contracted means some squeezing found in these bands, and after squeezing they compose. After squeezing, when they get squeezed, means they get they get contacts, they draw some special small pouches. They draw some special pouches, and these special pouches, you can see here, these are the special pouches. I draw here with black marker. So these special pouches are called hostra. Very important. These special pouches are known as hostra. You can see here, these special pouches are known as hostra. You can see in here. Clear, students? So these hostra are composed by the spacing in tinea coli. And what is tinea coli? Tinea coli are the longitudinal bands composed of longitudinal muscle. They are composed of longitudinal muscles, and these longitudinal muscles composed tinea coli, and after tinea coli are formed completely, they contracts again and again. They contracts means squeeze and draw some special structures which is looks like a pouch. Clear? And here we also seen, we have already seen that cecum is also a pouch like structure. These pouch like structures are formed once again in the next part of the large intestine, which is known as colon, and these small pouches are called hostra. Remember, students, these small pouches are known as hostra. You can see here, these are hostrals. These are hostrals. Clear, students? And these small pouches are known as hostra. And must remember that on this behalf, colon is divided into 4 sections: ascending colon, transverse colons, descending colons, and pelvic colons. So students, on the behalf of these hostras, how much it is contracted and which places this is not so much contracted, on the behalf of formation of hostra, and on the positions, on the directions, on the positions, on the behalf of positions, we can divide a colon into 4 sections, 4 regions. So first one is ascending colons. Ascending means it is going upside. It is moving. It is go upside. Ascending means ascend, to ascend. Clear? To walk, ascend. So this is called, this portion of colon is known as ascending colon. And what is the function of ascending colon? It used to absorb some fluids found in our food and salts which is found in, also found in our food. So the portion which is not get absorbed by small intestine is absorbed here. Clear, friends? The portion, the food which is get undigested in small intestine, it gets absorbed in large intestine. So what is the role of ascending colon? Ascending colons play very important role, that it is used to absorb some fluids, some water, other minerals, clear, and watery substance are get absorbed by this ascending colon, and it is also used to absorb salts found in our food. So this is the role of ascending colon. Okay, now we will talk about the next portion of colon. This is called transverse colon. This is transverse section of our colon. Transverse section means this is horizontally sections. It is horizontally in positions. So this is called transverse colon. You can see here, this is transverse. Transverse means not, this is longitudinal, this is vertical, and this is transverse. Clear, student? This is vertical up to we can say to sky, and parallel to sky, parallel to what is called transverse sections. So this is transverse section of our colon. This is ascending colon, and this is transverse colon. So transverse colons is also known as horizontal colon. So what is the function of transverse colon? It is used to remove water from waste. So some fecal substances which is get undigested in our food, and in this undigested food most of amount of water is found. So we can't throw this useful water from body. So transverse colons are used to remove, means getting absorb this extra water from waste substances. So fecal matter, from fecal matter, transverse colons getting removed from remove water. Clear students? So it is used to remove water from waste. So this is the role of our transverse colons. And if we talk about the descending colon, this is the third portion, which is downing colons, downing portions. Here you can see this is come towards the rectum portion, so it is called downing colon. It is also called descending colon. Clear students? So what is the role of descending colon? A descending colon holds the waste for some time. Sometimes it is large intestine plays a role to hold waste materials, because there is a much quantity of waste materials in our food at that time. We can't throw at that time, so descending colon hold this waste, this fecal matter for some time. So this is done by our descending colon. So this is the role of our descending colon. And after descending colon, the portion of colon which comes is known as pelvic or sigmoid colon. So there is no confusion, please students, don't confuse that. Sometimes in some books you written this is sigmoid colon, sometimes some books are written pelvic colon. So both the colons are same. So pelvic colon is also known as sigmoid colon, and this is the last part, smallest part of our colon, which is known as sigmoid colon. And this sigmoid colon connecting the ascending colon with rectum, and it plays another role, that it is used to synthesis of some vitamins K and vitamin B complex. Means it is used to synthesize vitamin K and vitamin B complex. Some amount of these vitamins are synthesized by this colon. Clear friends? So sigmoid colons used to synthesize vitamin K and vitamin B complex. So very simple. This is the all about our colon. What is colon? Colon is the longest part of our large intestine. Clear students? Why? Because it is divided into 4 long sections. So this is colon. Come to the next point and last point of our large intestine. The last part of large intestine is known as rectum, and this is the last part of colon, which is 2 to 8 inch long in length. If we talk about the length, it is only 2 to 8 inch long portions. You can see here, this is the last part of our rectum. This is also a pouch-like structure as compared as cecum. So this is long, 2 to 8 inch long in length, and it is also what is the function of rectum? Rectum is the last part, and it connects to anal canal, and its last point is connected with sigmoid colon. And what is the function of rectum? Rectum stores some fecal materials until we goes to toilet. And rectum stores some fecal material, means waste food. It stores waste food temporarily until we goes to toilets. So students must know, you know that rectum is the organ part of the large intestine which stores undigested food for some time, and when we go to toilet, it is thrown by a circular muscles which is known as anal. Clear? And these muscles are used to remove waste products, are used to pass out waste product from our body. So discuss later. So this is the rectum last part, and now we will talk about the function of our large intestine. Large intestine does not contain any digesting enzyme, so there is no digestion occur in its large intestine. So I have already discussed about this point, that the last junction of digestion is is small intestine. So students, you must know, remember that large intestine does not contain any digestive enzyme. It does not contain any digestive enzyme itself, and it does not receive any digestive enzyme from any other gland. If we talk about the small intestine, you must remember, you have to know that small intestines receives some enzymes from pancreas. It receives some other substances, not enzymes, other hormonal substances, other chemicals from liver. So most of digestion take place in small intestine. Not most of complete digestion take place in small intestine, and most of absorption take place in small intestine. But in large intestine, nothing, no any enzymes are found in large intestine. Means large intestine does not contain any digestive enzyme. So it is not no digestion take place in large intestine. You must remember, students. Clear, friends? So we'll come to the next point. Absorption of electrolytes, salts, water from waste take place here. Here to say large intestine. So absorption of electrolytes, not digestion. Absorption of electrolytes. You must know what is electrolytes. The compounds which are break down their ions, break down their sides. Positives and negatives are known as electrolytes, and salts and water from waste are absorbed in large intestine at various places. We have already discussed. Now come to the last point. Storage of waste, fecal waste take place in large intestine. Means it stores waste products, waste food for some time. I have already discussed that rectum is used to store temporary waste products, waste food, which is known as fecal waste, fecal materials. So it is used to store fecal materials for some times. And in diagram I draw two anal sphincters. So after rectum portions, on the junction of rectum and anal canal, a sphincter is found, which is called as internal anal sphincter. And on the last portion of anal, means last end of anal canal, also a sphincter found, which is known as external anal sphincter. And what is the role of these sphincters? Sorry, students, before discussion